your girl Kashawn, Cookie Dough Cooks and Sims. Welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, catch these vibes, and turn on that post notifications so you get notified every single time there's a pickety post. Yeah. I know that was a mouthful. Kind of like these thighs and this booty. That's a whole nother story, okay? So look, I am having another no makeup day. I am a little tired, so I look a little sleepy, but we're just gonna embrace it at this point, okay? Okay, so let's get into this story time. So in this story time, I took a trip to Mexico, and actually let me back up. Let me put the top on my edge control so it's all good to go for next time. What the heck? Okay, so this year I really wanted to travel somewhere. I always did solo traveling. I really liked solo traveling because like when you would go, you wouldn't have to worry about anybody's other like, you know, like you don't have to worry about someone else like disrupting your energy or like disrupting like the plans that you had for the day. It's just like whatever it is you want to do, you can go do it and boom, right? So I love solo trips. Like I remember when I was 25 years old, they had just opened up the border to go to Cuba, and when I was 12 is when I found out that my dad's side of the family is Cuban. So what I did is I was like, okay, by 25 I'll be able to go. Yes, like I'll be able to afford to go. Awesome. So I took I was doing research and stuff like that, booked my flight. They had just opened up. So they opened up, I was like, oh, I'm going. So I literally booked my flight, booked my hotel. I didn't tell anyone I was going until the week of, because I wanted them to know I was going for safety reasons, but like I didn't want to tell them with enough time for them to go too, because I wanted to enjoy that like on my own. It's been something I have been dreaming about since a kid, so I was just like, I just wanted to just go and do it, you know? And I remember last minute everyone was trying to go. The guy I was dating at the time, my sisters, my homegirl, and everybody was like really mad and in their feelings that like I didn't tell them with enough time for them to be able to go. So, you know, I booked my trip wherever and I went to Cuba. Cuba's story time is gonna be a whole other story time, but that was the first solo trip out of the country that I took, and I enjoyed the vibe so much that I wanted to do it again. So I had done, you know, like some traveling here and there, this and that, but always been with people. And I like, you know, like traveled for work and stuff by myself, like going to clients, going to go do boot camps, something like that. So I was used to traveling by myself and I wasn't afraid of it. Always had a good time. Awesome. Well, this particular year I was like, dang, like where do I want to go? Local, it's kind of still like affordable within my budget, but I'm like, I don't really know any places. So there was like an ex of mine who did a lot of traveling. So I was talking to him and I was like, hey, I'm thinking of some places that I want to go for my birthday. Where should I go? And he was like, oh, you should go to Tulum, Mexico. And I was like, oh, he's like, it's really awesome. You know what I mean? Like kind of like more like the high end, like more like, you know, like exclusive and just like a vibe. I was like, okay, so this was like, I want to say 2017 or 2018. So I was like, okay, awesome. I booked my trip like a month out and everything. Now again, I didn't tell anybody because I was going more to just like detox and relax because I was doing a lot of traveling for work. I had clients nonstop in LA. Then I flew to Portland. I missed my first flight, had to rebook a flight. Flew to Portland to visit a friend who's also a client of mine. So I was training her. Then flew from there to Atlanta to do a boot camp. Then flew from there back to LA with just a few hours to be able to pack before it was time for me to go and head to the airport. Now because of all this, again, on the way there, I made it to the airport in time. It was the airport in Long Beach, and the Long Beach airport is smaller. So I made it on time, but when you're traveling even to Mexico, out of the country, you have to arrive 3 hours at a time, okay? So because of that, I didn't. And I had to rebook my flight day of and then drive from Long Beach to LAX, which is like at least a minimum of like an hour commute, okay? So then I rebooked it, drove all the way across town in hopes I would make this flight. And it was just like a freaking mess. And I'm like rushing and this and that, blah, blah, blah. Then when I get there, I'm sorry, I take that back. Portland was when I had to drive, and I had to fly from, when I had to drive from Long Beach to LAX. When I when I did the Portland part from Portland to Atlanta, then back to Cali. But when I got to Cali, the LAX initially, when I got there again, I didn't get there 3 hours ahead of time, which also was a blessing in disguise because I had accidentally left my computer on top of my car, and had I gone to my trip, my computer would have been there and boom. So I wasn't able to check my bags in because I got there like almost like close to like, it was like an hour and some change, but like almost 2 hours, but it wasn't the exact 3 hours. So I had to rebook my flight again. So that in that week, I rebooked my flight twice, 2 different trips. A waste of money. Like, I mean, obviously I still gotta go, but it's just like, okay. So I rebooked or whatever. Now as I'm waiting and I can get to the car, I get a call from the freaking cops letting me know that someone turned in my computer and I had to go to the precinct to pick it up. Now granted, I'm thankful for that, and that's a blessing, so I'm just like, thank you. But I was already like, okay, look, okay, this week has been a lot. Is this baby hair? I need to fix this little baby hair piece. A wig is not glued down, so I'm just like making sure it's okay. Okay, so let's finish this. So then flight actually finally comes or whatever. Get on the flight, I'm super duper excited. I get to the airport in Mexico and find out that Tulum is 2 hours away from the airport. This is why you do your research before you go places, okay? So I'm like, what? I wasn't expecting that, and that wasn't in my budget to book a shuttle service 2 hours away. But I did. I booked a shuttle service 2 hours away, and because it was 2 hours away, on the way there, you stopped on the side of the road. It was like a little taco stand to the guy. It was just me in the car because no one else was going that far. So then the guy was like, do you want tacos? I was like, yeah. So you pull over, I order tacos, we have a moment, we sit there, we eat the tacos. Well, I'm eating some of it, he orders his, then I eat the rest of it in the car, and like, you know, we're on our way. So it was super duper awesome. Now, I didn't know that Tulum was technically classified as the jungle. So yeah, okay, which means there's a lot of bushes, a lot of trees, just a lot of like stuff that could go down. So when you pull up into Tulum, Tulum is like a strip of hotels and everything, and like all this like cool stuff like shops, eating and all that kind of stuff just there. But like it's literally just a strip. There's like nothing else really like around it. But like everything you need is like right there. You have to go through like a security checkpoint when you go in, and then you drive down to where your hotel is. Now my hotel is like kind of more down towards the end of the strip. But when you get there, you have to go through another security check. You have to you know, get your identification out, show your hotel reservation, just like all this stuff before they even let you into the gate to the hotel. So security reasons, that's awesome. But I'm also like, dang, what be going on out here where the security is like that? Like, you know what I mean? So now after they get all my stuff, we literally had to wait for like 5-10 minutes before, you know, everything was good. And then once everything was good, cool. I get into the front desk and they were like, oh, hey, because I had booked a week there. They were like, hey, we've been trying to contact you via WhatsApp to, I don't know if they were trying to confirm like what was going on, but pretty much letting me know that they had double booked the rooms, so I wouldn't be able to stay my full week that I wanted to stay. Because I missed my first, that's what it was. I missed my, like the first night there because I missed my flight. And because I wasn't able to check in my first night there and they reached out to me via WhatsApp, they shortened my trip. So instead of saying, okay, she missed her first day and she wasn't here for check-in, we'll allow her to stay the rest of the time, I was only able to stay a couple of days because they had double booked the end of my trip for someone else in my hotel room. And I was just like, what is going on? You know, so, anyway, the tour guide was super duper awesome. He gave me a super awesome tour, and if you want to see the actual tour of the vicinity and actually watch my Tulum vlog, you can click right here and actually see like the vlog, like everything and this and that, blah blah blah. So, but the part I'm about to explain was not in the vlog. I don't know why, but it wasn't. You know, I go, I have a great time. Now, I didn't think to bring any bug spray because I'm not thinking anything of it, but you know, out in the jungle, it's tropical, there's a lot of bugs. I would go to sleep in like sweats every night, like a long sleeve shirt. But when I left with like over 60 bug bites. And I'm just like, yo, what the heck? But you know, I enjoyed myself. I was just out at the beach, you know, I took my photos, got my content. I was writing an ebook. It was like everything. No, also when you go out of town, make sure that you have cash on you. Because Tulum's in the jungle, they get a lot of rainstorms because it could be the rainforest. So there was an intense rainstorm that came, and I remember I was sitting in the balcony and there was like this boat that was just out at the water, just sitting there, and I was like, okay. But a serious rainstorm came in, and it knocked out the electricity, which knocked out your ability to be able to use the ATMs. So I had to get that figured out. Anyway, my last night there, I have my shuttle service, and they were like, okay, look, this is what we could do. Leave at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to your shuttle service. They call the shuttle service for you, or we have to leave at like 11 something at night and then wait super duper many hours until my flight. And I was like, well, so I ended up taking the 3 o'clock in the morning route, because I was like, it's a shorter amount of time I have to spend in the airport. So again, it's 2 hours from the hotel to the airport. So I'm doing everything I can to try to stay awake, because again, it's just me in the shuttle service. Now, it was a legit shuttle service. It was a legit shuttle service. And literally, like the blue van, the yellow, was a legit shuttle service. Doing everything I can, to like stay awake to make sure that like I get there. When we finally get there, I remember the guy is getting my luggage and stuff out of the back of the van. And then like the doors open, I'm coming out, and there's a random person who's already there with the truck who comes up to me, a Hispanic man, and it's like, talking to me, has a little badge on, talking to me, asking me questions or whatever, and was trying to get me to get in his car, and I was like, no, like, I just got here, I don't need a ride, like I'm going to the airport. So he said, okay, and I'm thinking, okay, and then the guy helps me with my luggage, and then goes inside the airport. Then I notice this man follows me inside the airport. Huh? And then he like starts harassing me and badgering me, and I'm starting to feel a little uncomfortable. So I was just like, okay, well, let me look around and see who I can go to like get some help, because like, what's happening? So I go to like one of the workers in the airport, and I was like, hey, can you help me like tell this man to like leave me alone? Like, he's harassing me. The person just like looked at me, and I was like, okay. So then I went and told someone else. And I was like, no, here's another part too. So like, people knew I went, like one of my homegirls, she had FaceTimed me on my computer or whatever, and like, told me happy birthday. And then like, she found out from one of her friends, it was more her friend, but it was like mutual friends. That girl had DM'd me, and then like from her DMing me, it let, y'all know who it is, it's Sweetie. She told Sweetie it was my birthday, so then Sweetie FaceTimed me while I was there, like watching movies or whatever, and like told me happy birthday, this and that, blah blah blah, right? Fast forward now to the like going to the thing. I only said that so like people knew I was there. I just didn't tell anyone. No one came with me. I'm in the airport, and like I said, that person was harassing me, so I was like, okay, so then we go find somebody else to tell. So then I like tell that person, and like again, I'm like, this guy's harassing me. Can you help me tell him to like leave me alone? And the person just looks at me, doesn't say anything. So then somehow, in some way, shape, or form, I'm in like a circle, like around like the employees of like people who work at the airport, people who do, I don't know exactly what they do, but they have those like vests on that like help, I guess, with the luggage, like help push the carts or something. There's like people who like, actually part of the airlines and all that kind of stuff. Somehow, I'm staying in the middle. That guy is standing next to me, and like all these people are creating a circle like around us. And I'm like, yo, to everyone, can someone help me tell this guy to leave me alone? He's harassing me, like, and everybody's just staring at me. And I was like, okay, that's weird. Eventually the guy like walks off, and like the circle itself just kind of goes like this, and everybody kind of goes their own way, right? Then one of the guys that had a vest on came up to me, and he was like, as long as you stay in the airport, you're gonna be okay. And I was like, huh? He was like, just as long as you stay in the airport, you'll be good. And I was like, okay, thank you for that heads up, but like now I'm even more freaked out, because who is this person when nobody wanted to say anything in front of this person, and then like someone had to wait until that person was no longer there to like kind of give me the heads up? Like, what's going on? I'm like FaceTiming my sisters, and I'm like explaining what's going on, this and that. And then he comes up to me again, trying to, again, get me. The entire time he's trying to get me to get in his car that's parked right in front of the airport, like the doors to the airport. He keeps trying to get me to get into his car. Huh? Do you need a ride? Do you need a ride? Like, and I'm like, no, you literally just saw me pull up. You literally just saw me arrive at the airport. Why am I arriving and then getting in your car? Like, what? So then I'm standing next to like the shuttle service or whatever, like on the phone with my sisters, and he comes up to me and harassing me again, but this time I'm on the phone with them, and I'm like saying something to her, and again, she says nothing. Just looking. So then I remember, like, I had my phone out or whatever, and I'm on the phone with them. So I go to my Snapchat, because, you know, when you're on the phone, you can't actually use your camera. You know what I mean? You're on your phone. But for whatever Snapchat allows you to. So I put on my Snapchat, and I started Snapchatting him so I could save the snap. He gets so mad and so pissed off. So now I'm thinking, okay, so you don't want to be seen, which makes this even more sketch, because I feel like you're trying to kidnap me. Like, why do you keep trying to get me to get in your car? So then he like walks off finally. Now I'm just sitting like, you know, finally he's walking off. That's not over. I'm wrapping up talking to my sisters, and I see him at like way at a distance talking to this older man, like an older white man. And I'm just like, okay. Then, because they're sitting in line for shuttle service, then that guy calls his wife over, which I'm assuming his wife was like older, and then all three of them just walk out the airport. And I'm just here like looking at a distance like, because they were too far for me to say anything. I couldn't yell, I couldn't scream. Like they were literally, I'm like watching in a distance. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, okay. So I said a prayer, literally, I said a very long prayer that I would pray they made it to their destination safely. Because the vibes that that guy was giving me, the vibes that those people in the airport were giving, in the sense of like, kind of too afraid to say anything and like too scared to say anything, it very much gave me he's a kidnapper, or like he's attached to somebody in Mexico that got y'all scared. And I'm just like, I don't know, I didn't know nobody in Mexico. I'm just visiting, my very first time visiting. And I was just like, okay. So I remember there was a restaurant that was there, and they were waiting for the restaurant to like close, because once the restaurant closed, then you can go inside and you can just like sit. So I had all my stuff in my backpack, and I remember I laid back and like had my feet propped up in the bench and just sat there, because I'm like, I'm not closing my eyes in this airport. That man didn't freak me out, and I legit feel like you're trying to kidnap me. So I was just like, And I then just waited hours until my flight. Now here's the crazier part. I had a layover in Houston, but I didn't want to leave the airport and go get a hotel, because I was like, I may oversleep. So I just again had to wait in the airport and just stay awake. Excuse me. So by the time I got back to LA, I was so tired, bro. I was so tired. And I remember my sisters picked me up, and they had like all these flowers and everything, and it was just so sweet. But I was definitely exhausted. And that was the very last time I ever traveled alone, because that was a very odd trip. Like, just from the beginning, it was just like odd. And I was like, okay. Like, I had moments obviously of having fun, but like just very weird. And I remember when I got back to my local gym, a lot of people thought I had a sugar daddy. Huh? Because they were like, oh, you know, like thinking like I was there. And when I was dating people at the time, I wasn't ever really showing anybody. So everybody was like questioning me about me dating somebody and them taking me. I'm like, no, I took myself. Like, it was a gift to myself for my birthday. I didn't, what? No. But that honestly was the last birthday trip I took until Miami. And then y'all all know Miami's birthday trip was just a mess. So like, I haven't taken any trips on my birthday since, because like, you know. But I do want to just give or take a moment to educate y'all. One, when you travel, make sure that people know where you're going, so that way you aren't just like traveling alone. Also, make sure that you're safe. Like, if you know, like if you can, just have something with you that obviously you can fly to the airport with, but just to like make sure that everything's good. Follow your intuition, and then also make sure that like you don't take random trips and random cars. Whenever you're traveling, especially out of the country, always go for like a more of like a corporation based shuttle service. And again, I'm not saying they can't be weird and stuff, this and that, but it's definitely more safer that way. And just oof. And now here's the thing, I was so just I didn't think that it was as intense as it actually is. And it's one of those things of like, okay, you know, I shared the story a few times and some people are like, oh. So I do wish I would have said something then or like sooner, because I don't know if that guy ever like hurt anybody. And then the Shanquilla situation happened in Mexico and it just reminded me of that, and I was just like, oh my goodness. And I just, you know, just again praying for her and her family. But just too much. So like whenever you're traveling out of the country, please just be safe. Be safe. And like a lot of people are like, okay, you know, post in real time and don't post in real time. I feel like don't post while you're there, but post, like if you're at a lounge, don't post that you're at the lounge while you're there. But I do think like the next day or something like that, post that you're just to stay active, just so people can see if you're like okay and well, and you know what I mean, just like something. But definitely take precautions and just have an emergency caller on speed dial. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I do want y'all to be safe. I want y'all to have fun, you know, while you're traveling and stuff, but definitely be safe, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. Share it so you can help try to prevent anyone else from going through a little creepy situation like that. And I'll see you on the next one. Love y'all.